Hey guys, thanks for watching. This is Nario de Harris with his The Walking Dead Season 5 Episode 6 Consumed Review. Okay, this episode focuses completely on Carol and Daryl's amazing mission to go and track down the car with the X on it with another car that they just found. Alright, the episode opens up with an unnecessary flashback of Carol being outed by Rick. Nothing really happens here that gives us any new info. She just sits in the car and cries while a zombie beats on the car and she tells it to go away. Alright, and then we follow her living alone and doing stuff alone, and we don't really get any new information. Okay, and then nothing happens. Nothing happens. Nothing happens. We're 5 minutes into the episode and nothing's happened yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna say there's just so much buildup in this show nowadays. I say about like 75 to 80% of The Walking Dead is now just buildup, with that small 15% being the actual story of stuff that happens. Now I know this is like AMC's way of putting bullshit in there to keep the show from catching up with the comics, the way that basically Game of Thrones has at this point. But it doesn't work though, because the pacing is just like so terrible. We could have skipped the last 3 episodes and watched the last time on the Walking Dead segment at the beginning of episode 7, and we'd probably be completely fine. Okay, going on with the episode though, they are trailing these people, and they park right behind the car that they're following. On the same street, same lane, same block, like right there on the same sidewalk. They park right there behind them. Okay, if I was those cops, I would have been like, hey, isn't it kind of weird that there's a car right on the road where we just drove through? Like, as if that car was there, we wouldn't have been able to drive on that drive through where we just did. So I'm pretty sure that car wasn't there. You think that's weird? You think the cops should have thought that was weird? I think the cops should have thought that was weird. But they didn't think it was weird, and they just went on with their, whatever they were doing, kicking trash bags or something. Okay, and then, because there's no gas, the car won't start. I don't think that's exactly how that works. But they get out, and luckily they just happen to break down a few blocks from Carol's old trauma abuse center where she and Sophia, I guess, used to go when their dad beat them. Or when Carol's husband beat them. They go there, and then nothing happens for a while, and they find Noah, and they chase Noah, and then Carol runs out and gets hit by the one car still working in the zombie apocalypse. She doesn't look across the street at all when they know, whatever. Okay, there's just not really much of a point in talking about this episode, because nothing happens. That's it. Like, Carol just gets captured at the end, like we already knew she was going to get captured, because they already showed that she was captured at the end of episode 4. You didn't need a stupid entire flashback episode to show us how she got captured. Look, just like have Daryl and Noah, since we know it's Daryl with Noah, you didn't have to have that be a stupid ass cliffhanger either. Just show up with the rest of the group and tell them what happened, that Daryl got captured, and go on with the story. Stop having a damn backtrack story every chance that you get, like the freaking Governor episodes last season. It's boring and repetitive. It doesn't give us any new information at all. Like, you could, I'm okay-ish with having an entire episode devoted to Beth being at the Grady Hospital, because if we're going to have a big showdown with our group versus the Grady Hospital group, we at least do need to know who we're fighting. So at least that does have a purpose of setting up the bad guys. But this one didn't do anything other than show us some pointless stupid crap that even messed with the characters. Like, okay, I'm tired of seeing Daryl, them doing this thing every chance they get with him, having him be the golden child, the prince that was promised us. We get a scene of him carrying the zombified bodies of a mother and her child wrapped in white linen onto a fire so that Carol does not have to see their mutilated bodies, or whatever. Even though he starts a damn fire right outside their window so that Carol has no choice but to see it. But I'm tired of this pandering to like the Daryl Dixon cult. Okay, it's great. He's an interesting character. Stop. But he's like the only character on the show. Glenn and Maggie don't have character anymore. Tara never had a character. Michonne's just there. Abraham's whatever. Like do something with somebody else. Stop putting so much focus on Daryl. He's not even in the comics. He's not. Think about it. When does he really directly affect where the story is going? When does his character ever actually do something or make a choice that affects the overall group or where it's going? It doesn't. He's just there along for the ride. He just is Rick's right-hand man, just like Tyrese was supposed to be, and then Abraham. But, Tyrese is alive now, and Abraham's there. But neither of them are going to get to be that because Daryl is going to forever be there, and they can't kill him because he's like 80% of the reason why people watch the show. And Carol, I'm sorry, this one will be a little iffy. I consider this one to be more of a pure opinion on my part, but she just does not fit the action hero role for me. She's not a Ripley to me. It's like watching Captain Picard in the new Star Trek, not the new Star Trek, but the Next Generation Star Trek movies. They just aren't. They're not action hero. They're not Bruce Willis. I don't know why she had to become like another Darth Vader type character. She couldn't have taken. There's other kinds of strengths than like turning into a crazy murder person because bad things happen to you. There's other things that you could do with a character. She couldn't have taken like the high ground after Sophia's death and everything that she went through and become the wise moral center that the group needs now. Because we don't have anybody, Rick's got the, becoming a bad A crazy person thing. But who's the, Daryl's not Daryl. Dale's dead now. Herschel's dead. We don't have another person fit that role. To me, Carol fits the role of the new wise woman, the one who says, even though these bad things have happened to me, we have to remain who we are. Glenn kind of did that a little bit. Now Carl's doing that, even though like he's been murdering people left and right for no reason. Now he's like, Dad, you're going way over the line. I'm like, where'd you come from, Carl, on this? Shut up. Remember Dale? I would like to have seen Carol do that, to have come out well from all this instead of being just another crazy person because bad things happen to her. Abraham's a crazy person. Rick's a crazy person. Glenn and Maggie don't exist. Michonne was a crazy person, but see, she's coming back, right? I wish that they would just do something else with the show. And I'm gonna review the rest of the season, like I said I would, but the show really needs to pick it up and get something going, because nothing happened. Nothing happened. Okay, I'd like to talk longer, but the stupid YouTube time limit things I think are about to come up, so can't really say much more. I'll probably do another video on like the characters and how good I think they are. And by the way, in all these, I'm not going to put spoilers in from the comics, but if somebody is alive who's not supposed to be alive in the comics or doesn't exist from the comics, I will probably reference that. Okay, that's not really a spoiler because the show deviates so much from the comics, we don't know anyways. But okay, thank you. I hope that you enjoyed this kind of review of the episode a little bit. It was more of just a ranting on what I'm tired about in the show. But hopefully you got some insight from it, enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe, all that mess. This has been Nario de Harris. Thank you.